So I'm in my fourth year at Ryerson, and I study fashion communication. My major interest is branding, which actually has a lot to do with curation. And my experience as an art director for Mass Exodus had a huge impact on where I'm going with my career, and it has to do with that aspect of directing and seeing a larger vision in a body of work. To me, being the art director and curating the ideas, it was about being able to understand, as I mentioned, a larger vision. So what I took was based on inspirational words and images, creating an essence. And so in my role, it was like the branding essence, but it was the essence of the production, the show, which applied to the event as well as all the marketing materials and the branding. It came to the logo and to the name, the tagline. It was everything. And so I feel like the greater vision was somewhat developed by myself and my team, but it was keeping up that vision throughout all aspects of the show. I worked with the creative director to influence the actual look and feel of the staging, the lights, and I also worked with the assistant producer who did hair and makeup looks and dressing the models and things like that. It was the general vision for the brand and what we wanted to portray with the entire event that influenced all aspects of the show. And that was my job as the art director, and like I said, it very much a curator of the ideas. So I curated like brainstorming sessions for taking ideas and mock-ups of posters, and I looked at thousands of works. Like they'd bring me all sorts of mock-ups, and then I had to pick and choose and give them feedback on which went best with our direction. And that's what curation was so meaningful to me, was keeping on par with that vision and making sure that absolutely everything was a reflection of the vision for the show. Really, what inspired me to get into this was actually in second year. So I study fashion communication, and in this one class, it was communication design, and we had a branding project. And to me, this branding was so interesting. It was by looking at an advertisement, looking at a lookbook, the elements of design and the photography, the logo, the name, all of this, by just looking at a picture, really, a picture in a magazine, you understood the essence of that brand. I think the most important role for a curator is to act as that filter. You need to know the goals of your project better than anybody on your team. You need to know them inside and out. Why are you doing this? Who is going to see it? And what do you want them to know? What are you telling them? And when you're looking at any body of work, brainstorming or variations, when you're coming up with ideas for whether it's a poster or a video, you need to keep those goals at the forefront of your mind and filter every idea that anybody comes up with through that in order to create the vision and the end goal that you want for your project. So it's keeping the goals in mind and acting as that filter. I feel like that's the most important thing that a curator can do. So when I first came to university, I worked on kind of like the party events with Residence Council. So that was my first experience with events, was things like, the Focus Festival was probably my favorite thing. We ran like a fashion show, and it was curated from students that were in first year fashion. Did a little runway show. It was the first time we'd ever done it, and I think the last, actually. Nobody could do that again. But yeah, so that was probably the first real event that I'd ever done. And then I actually got my position at Ryerson University, the School of Fashion, and I ran events like the fashion orientation. We did a really cool t-shirt project where we got students to cut up a t-shirt and make it their own in groups, and they had to like present it to us as judges. And then I've also done receptions and awards nights for the awards and competitions in the School of Fashion, and those are more kind of events that they run themselves because they've been done so many times. But Mass Exodus was by far the biggest event and project that I've worked on. I was on the executive team of 5 different people as the art director, and like I said, that's where the curation and that role of being a filter really came to light. And now, doing my thesis project, I'm branding my own project. So I'm actually doing a line of beer, which has been very interesting and very fun challenge. But again, it's keeping those brand values in mind, and it's not as much filtering through other people's ideas as much as it is my own, because it's my own project. And I hope to continue after this, getting a job in something like branding and hopefully further on art direction, and really keeping that idea of being a collective filter and a creative direction and things like that for my work later on.